What is up? What is up, folks? How's everybody doing tonight? We have finally the long-awaited, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jon Bray himself in the house. How you doing this evening?
I'm good. I'm good. How you?
I'm doing all right. We, uh, I, I knew it was about time. I told you I'd been thinking about asking you back on for a while, and you can always tell when the people in the chat start being like, "Hey, when are you going to have John back on?" So, yeah, it was definitely unanimous. Everybody wanted to get you back, so glad to have you back. Um, do you think Gary Melton's getting any closer to the truth?
Every day. It's pretty. It's pretty
Oh,
much. I mean, that cavitation just keeps spreading.
I'm telling you.
And the bullets just keep getting more magical. It's just any day now we're gonna have that breakthrough.
Well, and I guess what made me think of that was he was live today, and trust me, I didn't have the patience to sit through all of it, but I did watch a few minutes of it, and yeah, he brought up the exploding microphone, and how crazy and how it defies all everything we know about physics and
Newton's law. Newton's law.
right,
That's what they love. They love saying
yeah,
that. Like you got equal and opposite reaction. It's
yeah, yeah,
Newton's law. It's not a projectile. You know what I mean?
exactly,
I know you're a sniper, Gary, but it's not shooting a projectile. It's not shooting a
no,
hunk of lead. It's shooting a hot, plasma gas. And you could watch any video of any shape charge. They literally just set this thing. They just
yeah.
set it on top of a piece of metal and it
If
blows a
it was
hole
a
in it. They
yeah,
don't strap it down. They
no,
don't put a
if it
big weight on top of it. They just set it on top of it and it blows a hole in the metal. Like,
That's what I was going to say. Look, when you're talking about conventional, yeah, there's you got to do a little bit of that. You've got to confine it, and you've got to have it. It's got to have some kind of backstop or something to keep it in place for it to do its job. But anyway, yeah, the shape charge is a totally different ball game. So I don't know if he'll make it or not. I'm really really hoping he will, but. I was just going to tell you and let everybody else know. So yesterday I was watching Lionel. I love watching Lionel. You watch Lionel Nation?
uh-uh.
Okay, yeah, you got to check him out sometime. He's great. He's he's like in his. I guess he's probably in his 60s, something like that. Talk about he was a prosecutor, and he's attorney 40 years, and he's always got good insights, and he's been all over this thing. And he always says people in his chat obviously watch you, so the microphone comes up quite a bit in his chat. Well, and he always says the same thing. He's like, "Yeah, but nobody's going to bring that up in court," and then they'll give him, they'll keep on, and he'll be like, "Look, I'm not saying it's impossible or that I don't believe it," or he's even said on his show that he has doubts as to whether he was actually shot or if he was. He knows it wasn't with what they say it was. That being said, though, the last one I watched, the last live I watched, he was saying, "Look, where's the evidence of it? Like, I'm open to it. Show me the evidence. I'm more than happy, And so I jumped on there with a super chat, and I was like, "Hey, Saturday night." I'm going. I'm doing a live with Jon Bray. I told him you were the guru, and I said, I don't know. I said something to the effect of, be happy for him to come watch. I even told him I'd send him the link. That's what it was. I told him I'd send him the link. I was like, but at least check it out. You were asking for microphone proof. By God, he read that thing out there live on air and was like, absolutely, absolutely, and it's confirmed. He did follow me on YouTube, so
Yeah.
hopefully he'll be in the chat at some point. So,
And to be clear, I can't prove it's the microphone,
well, I
but
mean, right?
what I can prove is there was a high energy event that happened underneath this shirt.
Yes.
And if you use that logic and you go, well, what could it have been? The only things that we know for sure that were underneath this shirt was his cross necklace, which
Yep.
is very unlikely that they've concocted a explosive inside a necklace. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I
know.
mean?
I don't.
It's just too small, and who you gonna get a jeweler to be
I
like,
don't
hey,
buy that.
hey, bud, I have some exotic high explosives for you. I
Yeah.
just need
Yeah.
you to
Yeah.
make it into a cross
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
smelt some hot metal
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah. Yeah. Be really careful when you're pouring. Yeah.
No
Right.
big deal. or the microphone, you know what I mean? And we know that certain parties that Charlie was having issues with love making electronics into explosive. It's not a new thing. The pager incident was just the newest iteration of it. They've turned a phone into they assassinated a guy, picked up his phone in the old corded phone.
Yeah.
The microphone on the phone had explosive in it. Boom, he was dead. They've turned an umbrella into explosive. They've turned a car into explosive that was triggered.
That's what I was going to say. Lots of cars. Anything that's electronic or has any amount of electronics to it is just prime. You know what I mean?
It's just their mode of operation. The reasonable doubt leaves them all the room in the world, and then they got their shield that they can break out if anyone starts to to clamor about it. They just break out the Semitic shield. And that's just a language, you know what I mean? That's not even a nationality. It's just it's so convoluted. Like that's not a genetic term. That's a term for a lingual term. That's saying that you speak a Semitic language. Like nobody's out there be like, oh, I can't stand these people that speak Hebrew. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. No, look, I love my baby brother to death, but by God, we got to talking about this the other day, and which I mean, we get into those heated discussions from time to time. I think everybody else thought we were fixing to throw down in the kitchen, but not really.
They got that Judeo-Christian.
Yeah, Judeo-Christian.
Boy, they got that mind work going on you. But all you got to do is just go and read the Bible. You know what I mean? Like that was the old covenant. We're in a new covenant now.
Yep.
Like anybody
That's what I tried to
accepts
say.
the body of Jesus Christ, and you join the church, and you convene, and you have communion with people. You are the new Israel. You are the body of Christ. That is the new church. Like, anybody that denies Christ, well, guess what? Like, there ain't no special exception.
That's the whole basis for their religion. I mean, that is their religion.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we see
we need y'all Christians to help us get rid of clear that rock off so we can build that third temple on it, and then we can have our Messiah. Yeah.
And these Middle East wars, the first thing they blow up is Christian monuments,
always.
Orthodox churches. You know what I mean? Like it's not they're not blowing up mosques. You know what I mean? There's the first thing they blow up is their Christian monuments.
Yep.
They don't tear down the mosque first. They go and tear down the crosses and blow up the churches and the holy sites. It's just.
I mean, and look, they act like those holy sites and things there would not be there if not for them. Like they are the protectors of the Holy Land. And I just always think that's funny because, at the end of the day, the Muslims think more of Jesus than they do.
Yeah.
They act like all those crazies would destroy all that if it wasn't for them. So I don't know. That's a
whole nother topic.
Yeah, that one there, that one take us way another direction.
But that just shows you the level of complexity that you would need to be able to. And then the media reaction, like, all right, let's just play this through. Let's say that party was involved in it. Like, how would they prevent it from coming out? Well, it seems like they got our federal government in pocket pretty well. Every day we see a little bit further.
Pretty deep in there.
And their motivation, their motivation is pretty clear to us now. Hindsight, we have we've done what they've been wanting for decades. We've gone and engaged Iran, and that was something that Charlie was definitely standing firm against. And it would have been very difficult for them to do that. As eloquent as Charlie is, with Charlie still alive and them doing everything they're doing now, it would be very, very difficult.
Very hard.
He would be pointing out every flaw and the logic of it, how it's not good for anyone anywhere, no matter what denomination, what religion, what culture you are. This war doesn't help anyone but a very small.
Now, John, Erica said, I wish Charlie was here so he could tell us how he feels about this.
That's why they're deleting videos where he made it very clear about how he felt about it.
That's all right. I already got the highlights downloaded. Like they can't take what I've already got, and I've got some good ones. That's all I need. So no, you're right. Though I mean,
so that's the motive. Yep. We know they have the means. The Hezbollah situation was a lot more complicated. Like these were these were pagers that were purchased by somebody that was highly suspicious of them. They ran them through bomb dogs. They had electronic
Airport scanners, right?
Yep, they had electronic experts look at them. Like they weren't doing any of that with that microphone. I mean, that microphone could have just had literally just like a bomb fuse inside of it. Nobody would have known the wiser. They were just charging that thing and slapping it on Charlie when it was time to use. Like anytime it was poised to go. Like
honestly, it could have been a complete dummy as far as Charlie would have known. Like as far as I know, he didn't have a feedback directly to him from it. So I mean, at the end of the day, it didn't even have to be a working model. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's true. It was just for the video. You know, for the video post production.
Feed,
and they knew that nobody was going to see that video. Like nobody's going to demand to see that all the way up to the final moments of like those, because there was like 2 questions, and they were just kind of like run of the mill questions. They were barely into the event, so it's and it's the same reason we're not going to see any of the videos from it, other than that rear view that we saw from Candace. I think that's going to be the extent of video that we see from the turning point. Like they learned their lesson with that one. They're not going to let any more of it slip out.
No. I mean, I'm shocked that little bit, slipped out of there. But yeah, you're right. I don't think we'll see any more of that. Man.
And then their explanation is, if you really break down the story of what their case against Tyler Robinson is, Tyler Robinson was there in the morning in shorts and a short sleeve shirt walking around. He was seen in his car. He was seen driving around, seen him walking around the campus. And then, some hours later,
he come back in a disguise.
Somebody came in an Eagle shirt and a hat with glasses. He's not connected to the car. He's never seen with a rifle. Right. And he's not even able, you can't even conclusively prove that he was the person that was on the roof.
I think that's why they set it up like they did in one of those last hearings. The prosecutor was up there, their prosecution was up there talking, saying when he came back, he was in disguise.
Yeah.
Which is another way of saying it's hard to identify him when he comes back.
Yeah, and the way they word it, they just leave things out and they allow people to fill in the blanks. So that's like everyone assumes that he's on camera changing clothes. No, they don't know when he changed clothes.
They leave the Gary Meltons of the world to fill in the blanks.
They insinuate that he changed clothes there, but in reality, that dude just showed up. They don't have that dude in the gray Challenger. They don't even see the gray Challenger anywhere. And how many gray Challengers are there? Like, if you do spot a gray Challenger somewhere, there's only probably 1,200 gray Challengers in Utah. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't change the model from over 10 years. It was the exact same model. How many of those gray ones do they sell? And then Converse. That's the other thing. Oh, but he had the same Converse. Oh, Converse. Golly, that is sure a unique.
What's bad about that is that his Converse were similar to that. That's what's funny is the shoes that like if you go back and look at pictures, the ones that Tyler wore are similar to the ones that this person wears.
Yeah.
But yet the ones that Lance Twiggs are wearing in pictures are exactly the same as the ones that this somebody is wearing. So, I mean, you couldn't have a worse model shoe to build a case off of. Exactly.
There's more. And then gray Converse, like the 2 best-selling colors are black and gray. Come on, bro. Like you can't convict someone of murder over some gray Converse.
Be different if it's chartreuse or something,
because it's like a shoe print. It has to be something unique on the shoe print. It can't be like every other. It can't be the right size and the right color and be like, oh, dude's guilty. It has to have like a unique cut on it, like some unique wear, something like that. They don't talk about anything. And
trust me, I've watched lots of ID channel. I know what you're talking about. They'll take those prints and analyze them, and look for some type of either some kind of defect from the factory or some kind of damage or something,
Yep. And then the prints, they talk about we got his prints on the rooftop. Well, if you listen to them carefully, what they say smudged prints. We retrieve DNA from smudged prints. Mm-hmm. Well, you go and look at the court docket, you look at the court records, they don't ever mention the DNA from the rooftop.
Nope.
So basically what that tells you is that the prints are smudged where they can't identify them. So the prints are useless. That's just, they got some prints from the roof, but they don't know whose they are. And they got some DNA from the roof, but they don't know whose DNA it is.
Oh, that's another thing. Consistent with
that DNA doesn't match Tyler.
Yep.
And I think that's the case because they don't say it's because like the screwdriver, the rifle, the towel, it has DNA, but it has 5 other people's DNA too.
Right.
So it's like, okay, so the
Yep.
only thing that they have that ties anyone to the rooftop is that grainy ass video. And
Mm-hmm.
then that screwdriver that is like super sus about, we never seen the screwdriver. They were so proud about it. And they talk
They
about
got quiet about that though.
and they got real quiet about it. And it's like in early court documents, but it's like conspicuously missing in some too. And then it is within the group that was mentioned that has 5 different people's DNA. And look,
Yeah.
a screwdriver is a screwdriver. Like anyone could have taken that screwdriver. They didn't even have to go to the roof. They could have walked by the roof and just thrown that thing
Oh
up there.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like you can't. His rifle was his rifle. Of course, it's going to have his DNA on it. It had a towel from his house.
That's
Yeah,
what I was going to say. I
of
mean, that's
course
not a shocker to me. We've
of
said
course
from
it's gonna
day
have
one
DNA.
that we thought he was a patsy. I mean,
Yep.
we've said from day one we believed that it was his gun.
For make all those pieces to be like a conclusive court case, without reasonable doubt, they would need to have him with the rifle during that day, leaving the rifle or trying to retrieve the rifle from the wooded spot, which they don't have any video of who left the rifle in the wooded spot or when they left the rifle in the wooded spot. We have no evidence that the rifle was shot on the roof. There's no gunpowder residue from anywhere on the roof that they collected.
I don't know that they even tested for it. Did it ever
There-
mention that?
No, they didn't mention it because I promise you they tested for it, but they couldn't find anything conclusive about it.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no gunpowder residue from the towel. There's no gunpowder residue on his vehicle, on his hands.
Like you said, they would have definitely mentioned it if there was.
You at least try, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? His car, he went to his car right after. So you at least try. Like he touched everything in his car, his keys. Like, sure, he washed his hands and he could took a bath, but he didn't wash everything he touched. And it lasts,
yeah.
it lasts quite a while on a surface, on undisturbed
It
surface,
does.
like inside a car.
Yep.
It lasts a long time. And I promise you, if you shot a 30-06 is a lot of black powder. If you shot a 30-06, you're going to have some residue.
yeah.
And if you went trucking with it wrapped in a towel and you tucked it in the woods and then you immediately ran to your car, there's going to be some of it left in there, even if it was from a previous time where he shot it at the range. You know what I mean? Like there'd be something. And so we have this screwdriver with that could be is completely circumstantial, and it has 5 different sets of DNA on it. And there's nothing else that shows that we can't ID the person on the roof. We don't even see a rifle on the roof. We don't see the shot from the roof. We have no witnesses of someone taking a shot from the roof. So what we have is a rifle in the woods and a Dremel tool at his house and a screwdriver on the roof. Like, that's the case. And if you don't have anything other than that, in an area like that, it's hard to fathom. And with all those people around, with all those cameras, with the FBI and all their tool sets, this is the best that they can come up with.
I mean, look, you know how much is invested in cameras at that place. I mean, I forget now what the count is, but it was way up in the way over 1,000 cameras on that place. And look, I've seen footage that has come not necessarily from this event, but I mean, like I've seen footage from other events, stuff that came from that campus. And I mean, like they have the ability, they have the technology there to produce a decent photo. So, those were very, very, those were chosen for, for a reason. There's better out there. Have you heard the latest about the whole rifle and the scope? And I've been kind of looking at that myself. The whole safety. So I don't know. I'll go ahead and run it past you real quick, just in case somebody else in the chat hadn't heard it. But so there's been this conversation lately about the scope being mounted on that rifle and the style of safety that comes on the Mausers like that. So it's got this like this big wing safety on the back, and it has to be rotated. And so when it rotates, you're going all the way all the way to the right is safe. And then if you flip it straight up, it is on safe, but you can work the bolt, just no fire. Yep. And then if you take it all the way to the left, then, you can do what you need to do. That's all safety. So anyway, people have brought up the fact that with that scope mounted on there like that, with regular standard profile rings, there's no way that safety could move. you know,
Yeah, you
to go
couldn't
back to
you couldn't take it from lock bolt, lock trigger to
fire
fire
position.
position. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, and that's a very good point. Now, of course, as soon as that argument come out there, guess who was first in line? Gary Melton. Yeah, but you bunch of dummies. I mean, they could have put the thing on fire. There's a lot of people that do this, you know. They could have put the thing on fire, dropped the scope on, and then just not loaded it till they wanted to shoot something. And that's not all that abnormal. Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like good practice, but okay. So with a little closer examination, you start looking, you realize that, like I said, when it's to the right, it's on safety. Left is fire. That gun in the photo, because now they sell aftermarket, like different profile safeties for them that you can use with low mounts. I mean, they've got them that don't even rotate up like that. They've got them that are like you push forward and backwards.
Yes.
Yeah. But looking at the picture, even though it's not a super high definition picture, you can see enough to tell that it is the military, you know, military style, whatever, the factory safety. So that being said, you can also see that wing in the gun in the picture. Guess what side it's on?
Yeah.
It's on the right. So guess what?
Yeah.
He could not have fired the gun if it was stuck on safe and couldn't rotate the other way to go to fire.
Yeah. I uploaded some images to the studio of it. I worked on that today. So I have a stock 98 Mauser, and then I have some enhanced images of the pictures of the rifle in the box. So
all right, let's see here. Wait a minute. All right, the photos are. Oh, I see. Okay,
there you go. So that's the rifle in the box that's supposedly his, and you see on the rear they call it the tang, kind of behind the bolt, the charge bolt. You can see that lever, like it's obviously a lever. You can see the shadow of the if you look at the kind of like that flashlight that's from the side, you can see like the indentation where it has like it's a flip style lever. It's not the style that you go on one side and flip it, you know, to 3 different directions on one side.
Right. It rotates up.
It's the style that rotates up and over. The only question is it a shortened aftermarket style that can clear that scope, or is it the standard style? But
I guess that there's some modifications you could do, but now from what I was seeing, they do make something, but I don't know that they make anything that does that exact, like full rotation and still will clear the scope.
I've seen one that modifies it where it basically takes the 2 actions and just changes it to where when it's in this position that we see now, it's on safety, and you could flip it up where it's like a 180-degree position, almost straight up, and that'll make it where you can fire. But they look different than this. But
it takes it from 2 or 3 positions to 2
positions.
Right?
Yeah, and you don't have to go 180 degrees all the way on the other side. But that's not what this one looks like. I can't really. This one doesn't look like like if you look at the other image, it has the military style in the firing position, which is on the other side. Yes. And they look a little different. You know, there's a lot of different countries made these rifles, and the style that they made that safety was different each time. But
depending on what country.
But even like sometimes they're shorter than this one. Like this is a pretty long one.
It appears to be.
Yeah, and you can really that black and white photo on the bottom like really makes it. To me, I can see clearly like the detail of the depth of it. You can see like the shadow of where it has like an indentation, where it's like a ridge. You can see that shadow cast from that flashlight that's shining on it, which tells you there's some depth to it. Right. And the other thing that I noticed is this scope is pretty beefy. You know what I mean? Like
it is.
That's a pretty thick body right there that it's having to clear. And if you really like look at the amount of clearance it has.
It's not a lot.
It's not a lot. Yeah. So, you know, even a shorter one would have a hard time kind of like clearing through it.
And it looks like, it's hard to judge for sure, but it looks like the way that scope is set, you know, it appears to me anyway that even if it would clear the tube, it appears that when you rotate it around that there's a chance it might not even Like it might hit too far back, hit further back when you're getting towards the eyepiece. You know what I mean? Like what do you
Yeah,
call that? The bigger end of the scope. I can't.
the reticle.
Yeah, you once you it doesn't look like it would completely clear that. Maybe the tube itself it would be clear of, but I think it would still hit the bigger part of that scope.
Another thing I noticed when I was looking at all the different modifications people made to these rifles, man, this scope is mounted way far back.
It is. It is. It
Like
doesn't look like. Can you
it's
imagine
mounted.
shooting
It's mounted.
a
It's
30-06 like that?
it couldn't go any further back. Look at
No.
the front ring. It's
Yeah,
right
the ring
on.
is maxed out.
It's
Yep.
choked out. Like I don't know. It just seems like
How would you accurately shoot that thing, especially from a prone position?
Yeah.
I've shot enough guns in my day to know that if you set yours up perfect and then you go to shoot it prone, you have to be more careful when you shoot that thing prone than when you're sitting upright.
Because your head goes forward a little bit.
Exactly.
Like, you're going to be on the edge of this cheek well right here where that indention is, and if you have your cheek on that cheek well, like that thing's
you're
in
in
your
trouble.
eyeball.
Yeah. They shouldn't have been no trouble identifying him. He should have looked like he hit by a 300-pound man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, you could modify your position to make up for that. But why? If you have to make one
Right.
shot and hit that shot, like why are you going to go out there with a ill-mounted scope that you just slapped on? And again, like I just
If you
can't.
did that, are you going to hit anything? I mean, come on.
And look, it added to the length of the barrel, like because he had to have this barrel
Right.
and this scope in his backpack. And it add like 3 inches on the back of it. So not only is he fitting this thing in the backpack, but all the pressure is on the back of this scope. Like that scope's not like, oh, those rings are real secure. Like it's a great connection. Well, it may be a great connection, but that's just for like people like gingerly handling it, not stuffing it into a backpack and having all the weight of it, like trucking it around campus and having all the weight on the reticle side. Like
I know all about those. Trust me. Look, if you hunt deer, I mean, even if you get done and you put that thing in the safe and it sits there all summer long, when you pull that thing out, the first thing you do is get you a box of shells and you go put some in some paper to see, because they tend to want to change themselves sometimes.
Yeah, just temperature change, I imagine, is enough to make it. It's just just fitting it physically in where they say that he did seems like really weird to me.
Right.
Like, and now I'm thinking about it, that had to be down his pants. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
that's where I was going to say next.
Like how in the world? The barrel is a stretch. You're like, okay,
yeah,
maybe
but with that
he
extra
could walk
3 or 4 inches,
with this big old honking thing, that would be like at his waistband, right? Like, how are you not going to see that? Like him walking around, because he couldn't extend it further than his knee, really. Like the barrel would be down to his shin almost.
Right. And look, I mean, when he goes up there, he supposedly has it in his britches. I just feel like he would have had a tough time getting up the stairs. This should be very, very evident by the video footage. Yeah. Obviously, we haven't seen this yet.
Yeah.
But it plainly says, I mean, it says the word crouch, but it says that he crouched down. And this is before he,
to put the rifle together, right?
He
went behind the building. They lost vision on me, and they just fill in the blanks of what he did. Like we don't really know what he did, but he crouched down and he put the rifle together.
Right, and that's where I really started thinking about that was the episode that Gary had Echo on, and I've had him on a couple of times. He's the one that really debated Gary and I think beat him. He's the only one that's made Gary concede anything and throw his hands up and be like, okay, let's go on to the next one. But anyway, they were talking about that, and Gary was like, what do you mean? Have you not ever had a broken leg? You not ever had a cast on? You can still do this. You can still do that. I've had a cast. Talking about crouching down and then getting into the shooting position. He was like, I could get down in the shooting position with a cast on. I mean, like, have you not ever had one? And I was like, oh, my God. I mean, yeah, anybody could just kind of free fall onto their face. But with your leg in a cast, you are not crouching down. And he didn't get into the shooter position with the thing in his pants. Obviously, he had it out before that. So, yeah, I'll tell you what.
And
That's
he jumped over a rail with it in his pocket.
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
just
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
he's hitting hurdles out there. He's climbing stairs. He's taking a hike around campus. Like he's taking a full tour of Italy around the campus with this
Yeah.
rifle and this scope in his pants, and just slapping it together and cold boring a shot
Cold
under
born a
pressure,
shot.
and
Yep.
then running Usain Bolt speeds
Oh
across
God.
100 meters. He ran across that building from when the shot rang out to when we see him look at the edge of the. It's just a little over 20 seconds,
Yep.
and it's on gravel, and he had to do it from a prone position. He had
Yeah.
to pop up, make an accurate shot,
Without
pop up,
spinning out. Without spinning
yeah,
out. He
had to pop up from an accurate shot, turn around, cover the rifle with a towel, and then run at like Olympic level speeds across the gravel roof, and then jump off the edge of the building, all without anyone being able to identify this rifle or make out
Right.
the fact that he has a rifle. Like, it's just beyond me how that any of that works. It's just like someone just like slopped it through, and they're like, how long does it take someone to run 100 meters? And the computer was like, 20 seconds. And they just didn't take into account anything else, like that. Hey, he started from prone position. He had to turn around, that he was hauling a 9.5-pound rifle covered in a towel, and that he was wearing Converse on a loose gravel roof. You know what I mean?
right. Everybody knows those are the best shoes for running in gravel.
I mean, yeah. I mean, people break records all the time. I'm super tempted. There's been so many days. I have a gravel driveway, and I have like a 9-pound like battle mace that you work, or 10-pound battle mace that you work out with.
Right.
I'm so tempted to go out there, and I just hadn't been brave enough to be like, hey, wife, you want to come video me? She's like, what is going on? No, I don't like this idea. But I'll be willing to wager that I'm a little bit more athletic than Tyler Robertson, and
more than likely.
And I guarantee you, I can't run 100 meters in gravel with a 10-pound.
Like you said, pop up, and like it had to have all been one motion. I mean, like to be in stride. I mean, there's just no way.
No, it's just not doable.
Literally, like, hell, he had to been throwing the towel on the rifle, at a dead run.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, and then like the path we see the guy like run along the edge of the roof, because you can see him from one of the videos. You can see the little black silhouette run along the edge, which made his run even longer.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. And this is my biggest problem. Why in the world would you just not go the way you came? Like, dude came up and jumped over the rail. Nobody said anything about it. Why wouldn't you go back over the rail? It's a more inconspicuous route. Like, some dude jumping off the roof tends to get attention. You know what I mean? Like, some dude's standing on the edge of the roof and jumping off of it. Anybody that's going to their car or driving by, they may pay attention to that. But some guy coming down the stairs, like, that was made for pedestrians.
Yes.
Nobody would pay any attention to that. They didn't pay any attention to it when he hobbled up there. You know what I mean? So it's like,
right.
And it would have been a shorter distance. Like, he went a longer distance to jump off the edge of the roof for no good reason at all. It just doesn't,
exactly.
It doesn't compute, other than it just, it made it very convenient for them to pan off to the side and, show this trail off to go into the area where they say that he dropped his rifle, but they have, no proof of that. Like, we don't know when that rifle was put there. It could have been there for days. Like,
exactly. I mean, and like I was saying, I mean, judging by by all appearances, that rifle could not have even been shot.
Yeah, for if we're going to say that it's a standard rifle, that outside of having the barrel swapped and having a synthetic stock put on it, that there wasn't, and having a scope put on it poorly, that it wasn't anything special about it,
right.
But like, and we don't have a bullet that matches that rifle. We have a casing that was fired from the rifle, but that doesn't tell you when it was fired.
Yes, and that's something else that I have really tried to hammer home. Again, I can't remember who it was I was talking to that I'd had on the show, but we were talking about that, and they were like, they mentioned that the casing, where they had positively identified the casing, and it's like I said. So yes, and I believe that. I have no issue with that, but that doesn't really change anything. They can identify cases as being fired from the gun all day. What they have to do is they have to, Yeah, they have to, without a shadow of doubt, they have to link whatever they dig out of Charlie's body to either that casing or the barrel of that gun or both.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
that's how you prove that the person, you know, like you can get a shot case by shooting it before you get there.
Yeah. It's not out of the question. You
Right.
know what I mean? And
You
especially
have to prove that.
considering that they don't have gunpowder residue anywhere to back up that
Exactly.
the thing was even shot at the area that they say, you know what I mean? Like there's no physical evidence to show that anything was shot on the roof. And
Right.
that's the whole case really depends on that. You know what I mean? Like they're inferring that the person we saw run off the roof made a shot, but there's no evidence to support that. Like nobody can look at that video. If you just showed someone that video and you didn't tell them anything else, you'd be like, what was that? Like, well, that looked like a dude running across the roof and jumping off of it. Like, did he have a rifle? Well, I don't know. I guess he may have had something, but I wouldn't say it was a rifle. I don't think anybody in the world would look at that video and be like, oh, that dude is carrying a
He
rifle.
definitely had a rifle.
Definitely had a rifle, like 100%. No, because it doesn't look anything like it. There's not a silhouette of it. There's like a vague shape, and it doesn't even like move. He doesn't carry it like a 9.5-pound rifle. It doesn't move like a 9.5-pound rifle. Like none of that makes sense. So it's like you put all these pieces together. It's like, man, this is just like a hodgepodge of convenient information with just tied together and allowed people just to infer his guilt through like the smudge prints. We retrieved DNA from the smudge prints. Oh, well, the DNA didn't match him and the prints don't match him, but we'll let you just, you know, we don't need to mention that part. Oh, and then
Right.
we found DNA on the casings, but one of them doesn't have his DNA. And the DNA we did find has 5. How do you get 5 different people's DNA on the casings? Like, why? Were you passing around your bullets at a party? You know what I mean?
can
Like,
tell you what I think. You know, I think that probably it's going to be his DNA. It's probably going to be his daddy's DNA. It's probably going to be his granddaddy's DNA, and then maybe even possibly the roommate. Now that leaves one more, but you know, those are all, I think, pretty plausible to be on that rifle and the ammo and everything else.
yeah.
Especially if granddaddy owned it once upon a time and he passed down rifle and bullets to son and grandson. I mean, that to me is, you know, totally plausible. So
And then
makes the most sense.
you get the muddy waters of a bunch of DNA from people that are related. Like, well,
Exactly.
how are we concluded that they say without a doubt, like, oh, his DNA is the most prominent. Well, I mean, I would say so. If you were looking for his DNA and the other 2 people that touched it were related to him, you could probably, you know, work the numbers, massage them to make it look like his DNA was the most prominent DNA. It'd probably be real easy for an expert to do that. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's not clean. You know what I mean? They need at least the bullet casings to have nothing but his DNA on it.
Well, I mean, it's like I said, to me, it's super telling the language that they use and what they always say. I've not heard them say anything other than this one way. They put it the same way every time. We found DNA consistent with Tyler Robinson's.
Yeah.
And I always say, look, that could mean anything. My kids have DNA that's consistent with mine. I mean, you know, because part of their DNA is going to be exactly the same as mine, just like, again, Tyler's and his daddy's and his granddaddy's. And so, you know, to me, that's not a very strong statement. And they just don't sound so confident, you know.
Yeah.
You would think that they would say, okay, we ran the DNA and it came back conclusively as Tyler Robinson's. You know, I've seen them do that before, and they always give a % chance. You know, like, you know,
if they have something solid that makes their case stronger, they tell you all about it. It's what it's what they don't say that's really important. It's just like the cell phone data. They don't tell you when they got that cell phone data. They just say we have his cell phone data and Google Maps. We're saying, well, I can Google Maps directions to Washington D.C. right now. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be there tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then yeah, we're pretty sure that he may have been there during the morning. But if you ping his cell phone there at 8:00, that has nothing to do with an event that happened at 12:33, or whatever. You know what I mean? And just the fact that they don't give you that clear detail lets you know that's not what they have. You know, that they have at best they have his cell phone ping to the general area earlier in the day, and they're just going to allow you to assume that it's from exactly like, oh no, they have him pinned down to the rooftop when he made the shot, with the cell phone data. uh it's just and they could do this to anybody, you know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
that's why it matters so much. Besides the fact that it's just a shitty situation. I mean, like, the fact that they can do this to him, they can do it to anybody.
Yeah. And like the fake Discord thing, you know what I mean? Like the defense have even brought that up. They're like a fake electronic confession. They didn't specify
Yeah.
what they were talking about, but they literally said a fake electronic confession. So it's like, if one electronic confession is fake, and listen, the cell phone is so weird because that's the thing they hang their hat on. That's really what the whole thing that makes the case is the text message to his lover. But the funny thing, if you really look at what they have screenshots
Yes.
of his phone, his lover's phone,
Yep.
of a person with a contact that says Tyler. They don't even specify that they made sure it's from his
Exactly.
number. Like he
Exactly.
could have literally just put a new contact from a burner phone and put it under Tyler, and Sitting himself does messages. And
Well, that's why the defense keeps complaining, because with the DNA and with, they say, with the digital stuff too, they're not getting any of the underlying evidence. Like, how was this all collected? What processes, how was any and all of this verified? And like you said, I mean, like that doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
Not unless you see some.
It's what they're not telling us that is important. The fact that they're telling us that, hey, he sent these text messages at this, we don't even know what time the messages came through at. They don't have timestamps. If they're not telling us he sent these messages at this time, it went off of this tower.
Exactly.
That means they don't have that information, or that information is not information they want to get out. It doesn't go along with their.
They either don't have it or they do have it, and it ain't good for them.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, well, they surely confiscated his phone, but they don't even clarify that. They said they confiscated some phones from the house.
Surely they would have confiscated or kept Charlie's phone too.
If you took his phone, why are you taking screenshots of the messages? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then they're like, oh, well, we got the burnt note. Burnt note. You're going to hang your hat on a burnt note.
Note.
Like how do you reconstruct a burnt note? It's just like beyond me. It's just,
I love it.
When just the more you look at it and the more details you look at it, like this is a nothing case. Like they really have nothing. And to get back to the point, why would you build a nothing case and roll with it and make yourself look like a fool? If not that you had intense outside pressure that you had to bow to no matter what. And that pressure didn't care if you looked like a fool. They didn't care if it was going to ruin your career because you're insignificant to them. In the grand scheme of things, Kash Patel is insignificant. They could care less if his career is ruined forever. He has to do as he's told, or he gets, he
might get the Charlie treatment.
He get the Charlie treatment, or he loses his girlfriend, or something comes out about one of his trips to a foreign country somewhere where he did something. You never know, and it's just going to be real difficult for anyone to explain it. And people keep hanging their hat on circumstantial evidence and trying to build a narrative around it, like it fits. Like we don't have any video of him going over the railing, and someone will try to make a video showing him creeping across the roof with a rifle, saying that he hopped the railing, magically appeared with a rifle, creeped and got in position. When if you read the deposition, it says that they lost vision of him for 5 to 8 minutes. They couldn't see him. You know what I mean? So we have no idea what happened in between that time. So it's dishonest for someone to go and create media and fill in the blanks with no data, or say, hey, I found Charlie's car. Here's Charlie's car. I found a picture of it. Well, you found a great Challenger, bro. Like unless you have a picture of his license plate on it and it matches Tyler's car, you don't have anything. You just have a gray Challenger. That's a 1 in 12,000 chance that it's his car. Like it's not something to build a narrative that could put someone, at a capital case facing the death penalty. It's the worst type of content farming.
And what so about that, where they lose sight of him for all that time. Look, with the however many it is, I can't remember now, the 1,500 plus cameras or whatever it is that are on that campus, they didn't lose sight of him. And I mean, they just didn't. There's some footage there that shows what he was doing for that time. I'm sorry.
The building that he was behind has a glass on it. You can see him
Right.
run
Okay.
across
Yeah,
that building.
exactly.
So it was like, if we can see him run across that building, why can't we see him change his, pull the rifle and assemble it from his pants and his backpack? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, it doesn't compute. Like
No.
no compute. And they just don't want to address.
But what was he doing for that time period? I mean, because if it was something that would help out the narrative, they would say we caught him on another camera and watched him, assemble this rifle, and
And
get
the whole thing, the Eagle boy that got the Eagle shirt, the only thing that IDs that they hang their hat on is the parents said it looked like them. Well, we don't know what picture the parents saw of them. The parents called and said, "Hey, is this you?" I think if the parents saw that and they said, "That's Tyler Robertson," they're not going to call and say, "Hey, is this you? Where are you right now?"
No, they'd be like, "Look, I'm looking at a picture of you, and you had better,
Or they call the FBI right away, right?
Yep.
And we don't even have direct statements from what the parents said. We have a police officer's summary of what was said. So that's him taking his interpretation of what was said. We don't know what the parents say, so we don't really have anything to even tie the guy in the Eagle shirt to Tyler Robertson other than Converse.
Yep.
So,
that are similar too.
we got a pair of gray Converse. That is the case to tie Tyler Robertson to Eagle Boy is gray Converse. We don't see him near the car. We don't see him come out of the car. We don't see him go back to the car. We don't see him drop the rifle in the woods. We're not even sure he's the guy on the roof. We just know that
It's funny that every Ring doorbell camera picked him up from, when he parked till he got there, but by God, none of them got him going with the rifle and dropping it off.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just, it's people have convinced themselves of something. And, once you do it, then you can fill in the blanks. Yeah. You can make it work in your mind. But when you really look at it honestly, it's a very, very weak, it's a bunch of soft circumstantial evidence that has very little to tie these characters together. And, it's a travesty that people are falling for it and not calling it out and seeing for what it really is.
Yeah, for sure. Whoops.
Whoa, that's loud.
Sorry about that. I was using my phone to reply in the chat, and I had the microphone muted, and somehow or another I unmuted it just then. That kind of startled me a little bit when I heard it. Sorry about that, guys.
Yep.
But yeah. While we're paused for just a second, I was going to say a little shout out. Gray Hughes is in the chat, or at least he was. Good to see you there, buddy. Hang out.
My favorite CGI artist.
CGI artist. I haven't. Look, I'll have to be totally honest. I've heard of him. I've seen him on Gary's show, but I hadn't really seen just a whole lot. So I know a lot of people follow him and watch him, but yeah. I hadn't had a chance to check out that. I know I think he put out one recently that I think that's what it is like CGI or something in it, but follows the path that he would have taken or something.
Yeah, it applies timestamps that are just impossible, like literally just, piecing together videos and inferring that the times on these videos line up with certain events that happen on the roof, and there's no way to know. And when you really piece it together and you map it out, the distances that were covered is impossible. Like I said, it's like Olympic level 30-meter sprint coverages on the gravel roof by Tyler Robinson from prone position. It's just not well thought out, but just like I said, just making content. So, but someone's life's in the at least I'm not trying to say anybody did this. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to bear false witness. I'm just
no, I get you.
I'm just looking at what happened and what makes sense, and trying to explain everything that we see that just doesn't add up.
Yeah, I mean they talk about how transparent and everything, and I'm sorry, but it has been anything but transparent. We got more on the Luigi Mangione case in the first day or two, the first 24, 48 hours, than we've gotten on this to date. So
Yep.
I mean,
I look at it like this: like if we were to look at this event and not been told anything about it, if we just here's Charlie's body, here's some recordings, like no explanation for what happened.
mm-hmm.
Like if you really look at the nuts and bolts of it, I don't think anybody would be like, oh, he definitely got shot with a rifle in his neck.
Yeah.
Because we don't have any blood splatter. There's like a unexplainable amount of delay between when the shirt jumps around, which if we're claiming that the only event that happened that day was a rifle shot, then we have to assume that the shirt jumping around in all the different directions, at microsecond speeds, was from a rifle impact, from cavitation, right? It blew his necklace off, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But all that happened almost a half a second before we see any blood appear, and
right.
That just doesn't match with the there's this. It's not like it's people have been getting shot for a long time, and they've been getting shot, and people come and they're not there. We don't have video of the shooting.
There's a whole science built around it.
To developing exactly what happened. You can look at how the angle of the bullet, the speed of the bullet, the size of the projectile, it leaves telltale signs. And that's like a exact science. There's papers, there's formulas. Like I've used them to recreate what we should have seen, and we see nothing of what we should have seen. There's no force splatters. There's no back splatter. There's no cavitation that we should see from the soft tissue. The physical reactions of Charlie don't match what we saw. The audio doesn't match what we saw there. There's a loud acoustic event that is centered from the tent, that comes from the tent. So that you can't explain that by a rifle shot from a rooftop, 100 some odd meters away. And then, we have the necklace, the microphone, the fragments. Like you start to add all this up, just like there's little to nothing that someone could go and say, if they weren't told that Charlie was shot with a 30-06 in the neck,
nobody would just come up on their own with that.
There's no pieces for you to piece it together. You know what I mean? There's outside of a fragment that's inconclusive, right? Which is basically saying there's a piece of a bullet, which we know from what happened at the hospital. The FBI stopped the surgeon from going back into the hospital. Like
we can look at all the camera footage.
Yeah, we can look at what happened to JFK. They dropped a pristine bullet in the hospital on one of the beds that were close to the facility where he went through, and they used that as like proof that he was shot with the rifle they said he was shot with. So like we've already seen this played out before. We know how easy it is just to drop a piece of something somewhere, and then who handled the Charlie on the way? It was his private security, like no third party.
Yeah.
They took him in the vehicle they wanted to. They took him to the hospital they wanted to. They only allowed the people that saw him were all people that were in the circles that would, if there was a conspiracy to do something like that, they were all people that had to be, at least somewhat compliant, or at least a few of the parties had to be compliant with it.
Yeah.
So it's like they have all the opportunity in the world to do anything they wanted on the way there. So if you look at like the chain of custody of the evidence, it's all broken. So you can't trust anything that we retrieve from the moment Charlie hits the ground and his private security swarms around him.
Not the footage.
Everything's tainted from that point. The thing that we have that really
even the cherry set in. My God.
Yeah. It's nothing was sacred there. Like everything was tainted. The whole crime scene was swarmed with people. So they basically just ensured that there would be nothing of substance that you could take from it. But we're supposed to just believe every little circumstantial piece of evidence that they piece together and tie this narrative together. But in just none of it makes any sense. And then you have like anomalies, like the fragments.
Oh, God.
You have the fragments from the mic, and then the microphone case. Like this was a huge microphone case, 44 by 44 by 18. Like it was a hump underneath his shirt that you could see all day
Oh
long.
yeah, you could see the whole outline of
It didn't matter what angle that you were filming him from, you could see the bulge, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
something that you could just miss. And then after that necklace blows off his neck, there's no bulge there anymore. All you
Right.
see is the magnetic clasp that's moving and folding in over itself. Like, it's obviously that case suffered whatever caused that necklace to snap mid-link and blow up over his head, caused that case to rupture into a bunch of pieces where
Right.
the structure of that case was gone. And it's not like we just have just the visual effects of it. We see the pieces of it all over the place. We see the pieces of the case flying off of Charlie. We see pieces of the case on the table.
I mean, how else do you explain it? I mean, like the pieces that we have honed in on flying from, Charlie underneath the tent. I mean, what else? I mean, do they look like anything else? I mean,
Yeah.
have you thought of anything they could possibly be?
Yeah, exactly. It's you can stretch your imagination and just start to just name stuff it could be, but none of it makes sense. What is a cell phone? No, cell phone's not black glass. That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like, was it a pair of glasses? My pair of glasses, they don't use that type of glass for glasses. You know what I mean? Like, it's like plastic. It doesn't shatter in a bunch of little pieces like that. And it had a beveled edge. Like, I don't know any pair of sunglasses that be smashed up that have a beveled edge. That doesn't make any sense. And then you just look at how close it looks like it. We'll go to we'll screen share real quick.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. This one here.
Yeah, we'll just
see. Wait a minute. Let me remove this other one. Is that the one you're looking for?
Well, I have on my desktop right now. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We'll go back to this one though right after that.
Okay.
Right after we get my desktop.
All right. Just let me know when.
Right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got
go.
you. There we go. I see
Yep.
it. Remove
All
this
right.
one and add that one. All right.
Yep. So, we got the these fragments. This square picture here that's high resolution, that is the same exact model microphone that Charlie had on that day. I destroyed the front of it into little fragments, and this is the pictures that we got from Candace Owens of the SUV. And you can see the beveled edges are there. The little clear pieces are there. The black shiny pieces are there.
Yeah.
The consistency of the pieces are similar. If this was just a higher resolution, we'll be able to tell even more. So it's not like, here's another piece, and you can see on these beveled edge pieces, that's really
just like it.
It looks just like it. It's the same size, shape, color. Even has some of the print where you get the gray print and the gold print on it. You can even see some of the pieces there. So it's just like, at what point do we just, write it off like, oh, well, it's a rental car. It's just some rando pieces that were, left in the rental car. But then we get,
and I'm assuming that's not a whole front plate or front glass there, right?
No, this is just sections of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's just tiny part of it. Like, it would make way more than that.
Yeah, and it sticks to everything. That's the other thing. People are like, how would it get to the car? Ma'am, I had to put it in a special container just where I could keep it from just sticking to stuff. Because if I got it anywhere near anything fabric, like getting it back off of this carpet was almost impossible. Like, it was, once it got there.
What is it about it? Is it got?
It's where it has jagged edges. It digs into the loops of the fabric, and it just doesn't want to come back out. It's like a barb. Like,
I didn't know if it was an adhesive that's on the back or something or what.
No, it's just super sticky. It's just real hard. And then we got this. Like, how do we explain this away? Like,
that right there to me has always been a big one.
Like, is this cavitation? Are they going to tell me? Well, how's there's no flesh there. We can see his neckline.
Right.
Know? And the speed that this happened. This is a single frame in between frames of a 60-second and a 30 frame per second. So that means that this is like sub 10 milliseconds that this happened. And at the same time, you can't see it, but is that necklace is flying. It's just a blur flying up and over his head. So we know the first movement of the necklace and this big giant hump on the back of his shirt, they have to be tied together. And then if you look closely at his flesh, there's like waves of pressure that go over his flesh, and his hair gets blown up. You could see the back of his hairline here. That's not what his hairline is normally like. His whole
No.
and look at his chin. That's not Charlie's chin. Like Charlie didn't
No.
have a turkey chin.
Something is forcing
a
everything.
shock wave.
Yes, a shock wave
that blew through in milliseconds and just deformed everything around it. And you can't explain that by a rifle impact on the other side of his neck. It's just there's no math that maths that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, in that shirt right there, look, that is not. So basically, if you went with the narrative, that's cavitation, which is basically just energy moving everything around so fast, you know, that is physically being forced out away from his body.
Yep. And by negative pressure, you have
And
positive.
yet there is nothing there as far as like flesh, like you said, or anything, you know.
Yep. And then if we look at that little black speck right there on his chest, that is where the microphone bulge should be. And it's not there no more.
It's not there anymore.
The thing turns 90 degrees and you don't see a square on it anymore. It's just the magnetic clasp and the clasp and the clip that were connected to the case is all that's left. The case is just gone. And that thing's just flopping around, you know, doing its own thing. There's nothing left there to it. So, you know, we go and we take that in account. All right, it was enough energy to break his necklace, blow the case apart, and make this giant shockwave across his body that blew his shirt out like that. Well, what happened to all the innards of the microphone?
Right.
They had to go somewhere, and that's exactly what causes his shirt to raise up on the other side. You know,
right.
if you look at the timing of it, there's a few angles, and you can see the back and they're within milliseconds of each other. This delays a little bit, but you can map this is a circuit board. It goes across, it goes up, and then you could see the thing fall down his shirt. Like you could see the square fall down his shirt and end up folding in a fold of his shirt on his lap before he falls over. So it's like, it's not a mystery on
I wonder whose pocket that went in.
Exactly. And that's why you see them passing stuff around. It's like they were collecting.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
They were collecting debris down there. They weren't stuffing gauze in Charlie's neck. You know what I mean? Like they were collecting debris, passing it off to people. That's why you see people that were hunched over them, and then they ran away after, for whatever reason. You know, the guy that jumped the table.
Yeah, the Y refi guy.
Yeah, he had no reason to jump the table, just to go and like hunch over Charlie for a little bit, get something passed to him, and then run off.
Out.
He doesn't hop in the car and drive. He's just standing out there in the crowd when they leave. Like, it's when you just look at all the details, it just gets harder and harder.
Again, you know, the question I get a lot is, okay, you know, we're talking nation state. Like, can they not plan this and execute this any better than what we saw? Yep. But, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, it probably was a pretty solid plan. They did have a plan. This was all just, you know, thinking on their feet and trying to improvise because, you know, they probably tested it 4 or 5 or a dozen times, and probably every case held up. This time they got one with a defect. I mean, like, it is what it is. I mean,
it's just the luck of the draw. The necklace and that neck wound just blew it open for him. Even without the necklace, you could have explained if with a chest shot, like, well, that 30-06 is powerful. It blew that necklace clean off of him, right? It made that shirt jump around. When you have that neck wound that's like so delayed after the shirt jumps around, it just makes it real difficult when you got a single shot to be like, all right, he got shot in the neck and a bullet bounced around and then came out of his neck. They're like, no, that don't work. Like, well, let's try. How about he just got shot in the neck and then it didn't exit. It just bounced around, and that's what caused everything we saw. And that's what they had the choice. That was their choices. Like, it was A or B. Either you say that he got shot in the chest and it hit the mic and blew the necklace off and ricocheted around his body and came out of his neck, or you say he got shot in the neck. And they went with shot in the neck. And
I can't remember that guy's name. The one that he went on Gary's show. I don't know if he went on Gary's show. He he went on with Andrew and Blake, the ammo guy. I think you
Felix.
argued with him, right?
Felix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phoenix ammo, right?
Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, I know you've got to remember that post he made, something to the effect of, yes, it could happen, it going in and breaking his spine here and then turning and going down and landing at the. He said something to the effect of his skin acting like a trampoline or something. Do you remember that?
I was just add it to the list of crazy things. It comes down to the bullets do crazy things explanation.
How are they so invested as to literally put that out, in front of God and everybody, the public, for what?
It's because it's the appeal to authority. When you're on,
it has to be.
It's like cheering for the Super Bowl team that is going to win. You know what I mean? It's a very safe call. You'd be like, oh, I'm not going to be a loser in this deal because these guys are definitely going to win. It's that same type of mentality. And this is that roof runner video that Gary Hughes, you see his little logo down here. So he pinned this together. You see 32 seconds right there. And you see where this is on the roof, right?
Uh-huh.
And then we're going to go, and here we are. So that's 36 seconds. And we're at this part of the roof, right?
Right.
And then we look at the distance that is. You see that little that indention there on the roof? That's about where the roof runner was.
Okay.
This area at the end is about where we see him on the other camera. That's 33 meters. So his video tried to say that this guy ran 33 meters on a loose gravel roof in 4 seconds.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that's like Olympic. That's Usain Bolt ran 3.8 seconds. And they were like, this is the fastest 30-meter start that anyone's ever had. You know what I mean? The fastest man in the world runs it in 3.8. But Tyler Robinson ran it in 4 seconds with a rifle, a backpack, covering on gravel.
Wrapping the thing in the process.
Everybody needs to go buy a pair of gray Converse. And you'll be the fastest runner in the face of the world. And then my other favorite thing is like, oh, it broke at the clasp. Like, this is the clasp. Like, we can see the clasp. This is the clasp going up over his head.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big, huge clasp. Like, it didn't break at the clasp. It broke in the middle of the link. And it takes a lot of energy.
That's what I was going to say. That means that it took way more energy for it to happen.
Yep.
Because those are welded links, aren't they? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. They're soldered links. Like, it takes a tremendous amount of energy. And I don't have the video on here, but the video from the side, you can see one of the links flying off. So as soon as that necklace moved, you see that just a single frame, which means that thing was like moving, had to be 300 feet per second at least. And you see it just for one frame flying out right in the trajectory you would expect from that chain whipping up.
So, and that's interesting too. That means that it didn't just break, but it literally had to broken in two places.
It blew several links apart.
Yeah.
So that's just showing you it wasn't like it got tugged and broke in one spot.
Right.
A section of it got destroyed.
Yeah. Because look, if one link, all right, so say if one link had broken on both ends, then it's going to fly off in two pieces. If you see a whole link flying, yes, by necessity, it at least broke in two places,
Yep. And then you can pull up that video with that color, the color synced on it. Yeah. So I found this one on the left. I found first, and you see the puff of smoke come out of the shirt collar. Yeah. Right. You see that puff of smoke right there. Mm-hmm. Well, I found on Candace's back angle is a huge puff of smoke that you see come out from it at the moment, the first movement before the shirt collar even blows up. The first thing you see before any movement is smoke coming out. And this is two
that's like artifacts and shit, John.
it's the 30-06 bullet. Is what
exactly.
It is. It's
the
black
30-06 bullets doing a lot of.
It's the black powder from the 30-06 bullet just blowing off. Mm-hmm. But this is like a single frame and a 60 frame per second video. So it's like we're looking at 17 milliseconds that we see difference
17 milliseconds
between this smoke coming out, and you see this on this angle, the collar starts to stretch. We see the very beginning of the stretch there.
Yep.
So that shows you that these are tied together. Whatever caused
They have to be.
Whatever caused that smoke to come out of the front of his collar caused the back of his collar to stretch out, and then with the back angle added to it, we see even more smoke come out. So we know
and it come out the front first, correct?
The front, across his body, which is key. The same angle that we see the shrapnel level later travel, we see the smoke travel first. So let's imagine that case is there underneath his shirt and it opens up. Well, its aperture is on one side where that case fractures. Everything's going out that direction. And that's the direction we see the shrapnel. That's the direction we see the smoke. That's the direction of the circuit board that lifts his shirt up. And that's the direction of the battery that strikes his neck. And that's why the wound is rectangle and it just hangs out there for a little while. It was plugged up. You see him
yes,
before it starts to bleed. And I have two different angles that show it from the front falling out of the neck, and then I have another angle that you can see it fall in between his armpit down to the ground, and it's a rectangle object. You see the silver side on one side and the black flat side on the other side, and that's just what the battery has. The battery has like black foam on one side and a silvery film on the other side. I measured it because we know the text on his shirt. We know how big that text on the shirt is. We know how big the magnet is. So I can get a direct representation for every pixel, what it represents as far as millimeters. So I map the size of the magnet. I map the size of the battery, and that object we see falling out of his neck is the exact same size as the battery. So it's like at some point you have to use your logic and be like, okay, so the trajectory matches. We know the components that were in the case that disappears is the same size that we see bulge on the shirt and fall down his shirt, and it's the same size that we see of the wound is the same size, and the object we see fall out is the same size.
Now that's not proof of anything. If it's not on a document with a court seal on it, it's not proof.
Yeah, right. But it's like, at what point do we just start believe our lying eyes?
And I mean, look, it makes sense too, the way that acts there, because obviously the microphone is in the front, which is going to be closer to the front opening of his shirt. Besides that, the front part is lower, and obviously there's going to be less resistant there because it's going to be somewhat open with him, the way he was leaning, versus it's going to take
path of least resistance.
Yes, it's going to come out the back, but it's going to take a little longer before it makes it back there. So I mean, the sequence of events is just
so we have two different things. We have the gas, which takes the path of least resistance, and then we have the shock wave, which goes radially in all directions. And so we see the gas take the path of least resistance.
His whole entire face deforms. I mean, like anybody that can't see that.
Yeah. Well, look, hey, we're going to pull it up. Pull back on my screen.
All right.
We're going to hop on the site.
All right. Let's see.
I'm going to take y'all on a little forensic ride.
All right. Okay. And which one?
Hold up. I'm failing you here.
Oh, it's all good. Well, we got three of them loaded at the bottom. So
I got you now.
Screen there we go. Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet.
So here we got the bulge. So we can see this bulge clear as day before, right? It's hard to miss. It's huge. Then these bottom two are after the necklace gets blowed off. And blowed off. You see that? That's a proper term. It doesn't get blown off.
That's the only way I ever say it.
It gets blowed off.
Tennessee, Oklahoma. That's just the way we. That's just the way we do.
But you can see, like, there's a great deal of the shape behind the shirt is bigger than the magnet, right? In all these pictures, it's real clear to see.
Right.
But after that necklace gets blown off, all you see is just the magnet, and it is the bulk of the shape, and it's because that clip is the width of that magnetic striker. So once that case is gone, it's just a clip in the magnet. It's just the clip is just a little bit longer than the magnet, but it's the same width as it. And that's why you see it's such a clear representation of just that shape there.
Gary said it's absolutely ridiculous to think that that you could generate all that force enough to kill a human being, but not blow off the cheap little clip that holds it on or something.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude,
it's ridiculous to
he
think
knows
that you can
better than that.
that you can blow a hole in 3/4 inch steel
Just
on
by laying something
that
flat
you
on
just
top of it.
set on top of it. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like you got to use your logic, man. You got to apply it to.
He knows that. He knows that.
Yeah, exactly. And so look, this is a great example of the shockwave. It's just like we see that.
And you can see his hair.
His hair is the most dramatic thing. Like
Yes.
how much his hair and how it deforms his flesh. Look at that.
Yes, yes.
Look at it just woof, it ripples his flesh around, and then that necklace is just like it moves so fast. That's a 60 frame per second video. Like it's hard to explain like how fast that is. Yeah, and how much energy it takes, just to move the necklace. That's not even talking about snapping the necklace. That's not even getting in the realm of that. Just to move the necklace at that speed is crazy. But then when you combine that with like the localization of the shockwave, like you can see the direction that caused the bulge.
Everything goes the same direction.
Yeah,
his hair, his skin, his forehead, like his jaws, his neck.
Yep. So we see, boom. So this is like the shockwave's dissipated at this point. So here's like peak shockwave. You see his hair stand on end at the same time where his flesh is just rippling around. Like,
well, that's what I was going to say too. Is so if I understand,
look at that.
Yeah, look at that. That is
that's
bad.
Crazy.
Yes, it
like
is.
How do you explain that by anything other?
Nobody ever shows those.
Yeah,
I mean. You gotta come watch. You gotta come watch us if you want to see stuff like this.
Yeah, and
Gary does not use this to prove his point.
No, because it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like anything that doesn't fit the narrative, they just ignore. But golly, like that's dramatic. And
hell yeah.
And then you take a look at the shirt. Like we can see the object fall back down. So look, that collar bulge, boom, it goes up, it goes down. And look, there it is falling in the crease of his shirt. We can see the object fall down his shirt and end up in that crease there that's getting blocked by Harple's head. And it stays there until he falls down. So it means like all that stuff they were scooping off the ground was little bits of all this debris.
Well, so I mean, am I wrong to assume that cavitation would be more radial? Even on his neck and skin and everything else, as far as the effects of it.
Exactly. We should have saw a giant expansion to the
instead of being directional,
the left side of his, because it's a fluid dynamic, right? Cavitation is a wave traveling through fluid. It doesn't affect solids like his bone, his tissues. They're not affected. It's the fluids of his body that are affected by it. Right. And so it would have been completely localized on that side. It wouldn't have crossed to his chest or anywhere else. And it would have been so dramatic that it would just blown a hunk out of his neck. It wouldn't have been like
to expand to the size that it would require to fill that necklace up.
Yeah, I mean, come on, bro. Cavitation. Like nobody's taking that serious.
There's no way that necklace got whipped hard enough inside there.
You can see the wave across his body. We see the cavitation from the shockwave. Look at his shoulder. Look where his flesh waves out. But that's on the other side of his. Look at his boom. That's cavitation. You see that?
Yeah.
You see that last frame? That's flesh cavitation. But that's from the shockwave that hit his chest. That's blowing through. You know what I mean? That's not from an impact to the neck. It's just the amount of mental gymnastics that you have to do to try to make that work is it's difficult for me to even fathom how someone.
That's crazy because I mean I've seen a lot of your stuff, but I don't think I've ever seen those. I mean, I've seen them, but I don't think I've ever seen them that clear and that,
Hey, you want to talk about videos that got hammered more than anything? These videos, I put up some crazy stuff, and this doesn't even show any blood or anything. These videos got more restricted than anything else. These videos almost got me kicked off of X. I'll put it that way.
Now that's bad if it gets you kicked off X.
This one in particular that shows this crazy deformation on the neck, and there's nothing graphic about it. But it
it's
shows,
graphic, but it's not by definition, not definitionally graphic. I guess.
but what it shows is graphic to the official narrative. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you can't toe that line and look at that and make it all compute. Like it doesn't balance out at the end of the day. Like they ain't no making that make sense.
No, it's crazy.
And then like the spatter, like what we should have seen
has always been a big issue for me. I mean, like, look, I've watched a bunch of First 48 and ID channel in general, and that is the one thing with any gunshot victim. I mean, that's the first thing that they go to, and that's what a lot of their case gets built around. They prove these things out by the blood spatter, and you know,
it gives them position of the shooter, and then they can tie that person.
Everything, height of the shooter. You know what I mean? Like they can tell you exactly what angle the thing was traveling at. Like everything based on that. Yep. And yet we have not one single mention of any blood spatter in any of those documents. And of course, from a lot of the good videos that we have gotten from there, I mean, we can see there's no blood splatter. Like if a 30-06 had hit him in the neck, that blood splatter would have been, it's not like you probably just can't see it. No. Something that dramatic, we would have seen it.
Yeah, it would have been hard to not see. And then like the times that the speed that the collar moves, like I had to develop a technique to basically use, like a camera is taking pictures and then making them into video. But when it takes a picture, it's taking it like a row of pixel at a time. So I developed a technique to go and look at the differences in between the frames of each row to be able to time this stuff out. So, it gets me down to like millisecond timing.
Yeah.
And the speeds that collar moved, there's just no way to explain it other than high energy explosives. It's the only thing that moves at the rates that we saw. Like, it's just not possible for anything else to move at that speed from a bullet impact. It's just, there's even a regular explosive, charge. It had to be a high. Yeah,
I know you compared the metrics on, the numbers on a conventional, versus a, shape charge like that.
Yep. Had to be a high order explosive. Like, this wasn't like run of the mill, made it in my kitchen type stuff. Like, this was like, an AES level.
And it definitely wasn't a battery exploding.
No, it wasn't a battery exploding. It's the same amount of, coincidentally, it's similar to the amount of energy that the battery could to let out, but the battery would let it out like at 10
slowly,
times.
Though, right?
Yeah, it would be 10 times slower than what we saw. And then we got the acoustics of it, which it was murky with all the cell phones around it, because it's hard to, with the cell phones being so close, and the cell phones are like a compression based audio. Mm-hmm. It kind of like clips off the highs and the lows of it. Yeah. But when you get uncompressed audio, especially if that audio's far away from the event, it becomes real clear.
Yeah, because up close it just distorts to the point that.
Yeah, it all blurs together. It's hard to separate the peaks out. But when you get it close, it was real clear with that Canon camera from the UVU. Yeah. It was far enough away from the tent that it was able to pick up that, that shock wave from the tent was separated enough from the mock cone. Because, it was closer to the shooter. So the mock cone traveled by it first, and then it was further away from the tent. So then the actual detonation, the frequency from the detonation reaches it later. So there's a bigger delta in between. Right. And you can pick it out. It's when you map it with the other cameras, you can see the timing of it. Like right after that bullet, that mock cone passes by, that detonation goes off. So it's just like, how do you explain, like, unless this was like some magical exploding 30-06 bullet. You can't explain how you get this effect. Like
Right.
boom. So that was fast, but we're going to slow this down and kind of give you a visual representation of what we're dealing with. This is the audio scan of what the frequencies were detected. So there's the bullet going by, and boom, that's the detonation that comes from the tent. So
wow.
this is slowed down to 0.1% of the timing, but you see that you
man.
can't explain that central,
That's crazy. The
frequency.
visual just helps so much.
Yeah, and when you if you go back and listen to those cameras, especially this camera right here, you can hear it. It's like you hear that bullet whiz past, and then right after, it's like you're still hearing that crack from that sonic boom. And then you hear like a firecracker sound.
Well, see, and I've heard people talk about, the possibility of maybe the cover sound would have been a blank, and I tried to explain to people that that's impossible because if you were to fire a blank, you would hear a little bit of a pop, and that's it. But that the majority of the sound that you hear is literally nothing but that projectile breaking the sound barrier, and that has to be. I mean, it's not a blank then at that point. I mean, most of that sound, like I said, and you can see it on the audio analysis that you and others have done. That mock cone. I mean, and that has to. I mean, it necessitates a projectile
because the mock cone moves faster than sound. Because that sound's coming off the tip of that bullet. As that bullet's traveling by, that sound is getting picked up off the tip.
Yes, so it's being carried by that bullet. I mean, or coming off of that bullet.
You see the separation. This orange circle is the muzzle blast. Mm-hmm. And so you see that mock cone's already done and gone before the muzzle blast arrives at far away. But right around when the muzzle blast arrives is when the detonation goes off. Boom.
That's why I love, and I picked up on that. And I haven't heard many people talk about it, but I picked up on it the first time I heard him say it. But that Sean Ryan interview with Harpo, he was like, asked him something about, what his reaction was or whatever when he heard it, or did you know it was a gun? And he was like, there's different kinds of shots, and you've probably heard it like me. I knew right away by the sound of it. And he said, first, I heard that rifle crack, and then he said, I heard it slap him, I heard it slap.
It sound like a ruler. Yeah, sound like a ruler hitting the ground. Yeah.
And I told people just right after that, I got on a live, and I was like, so what he is saying, it's wrong, it's backwards, and it doesn't make any sense in that particular situation. But yes, there are times where at a very, very long distance, you can hear it hit something before the sound gets there. Yeah. You can hear it hit. Like I've seen people shooting like metal targets way out, 1,000 yards or something, and you can hear that ding before the sound ever makes it there.
Yeah.
But he's saying he heard the sound and then he heard it slap his neck. So, I mean, regardless, I thought that was kind of dumb.
I'm trying to find my necklace section. I have the back view and the front view, and man, it's dramatic when you see that laid out for you. It's just like, what in the world? The necklace is the wildest thing to try to explain by. It's just like, golly, you really have to be going for just riding with it. You're a ride or die fed slopper if you're looking at that necklace and you're like, that makes sense. That's
better than kibbles and bits.
Yeah, that is definitely what happened. And
I'll tell you what, while you look for that,
here we go.
You can, all right.
I got it.
I'm going to let you get started on that. I just don't want to lose my battery. So I'm just going to go off camera. You can go ahead and I'll be right back.
Here we go. We're going to play these two side by side, and it kind of lays out the whole trajectory of that necklace. So there's the first movement of it. You see it snapping off his neck here. You don't really see it over here because it's the back view, but the next stage where you see that dramatic, look at his shirt collar moving into this back view, shirt collar, front view, no case on that microphone. This is just a magnet clasp and a clip. You can see the clasp of the necklace there. So it had to break mid-link, and it broke right around underneath where the microphone was. And now we see that that necklace whipping around his head. And it's hard to see it here because it's in the crowd, but it whips all the way around. In this next video, you can see it a little better. It's in a darker area, but it's basically is extended off the back of his body. It's coming around. Now it's turning over on itself. It has so much trajectory, it has so much speed and momentum off the portion that was broken that it's outrunning the rest of the necklace. And what's really important to see here is that it's resting on his neck on this side. So if it was his cross necklace raised up, or this side of his necklace raised up at all, we would see this part of the necklace raise up too, and we don't. It stays rested. It basically gets pulled out from the momentum as this is whipping around his head. It pulls the slack out from underneath his shirt. And so we see it get longer. We see it whipped over on itself. It's out of the view here, but we can see it still rested on his neck. Here it is starting to rest. It's still pulling out of his collar and starting to rest over on his shoulder. And here, that's the final angle. Basically, it's resting, hanging out of his shirt, draped over his collar, and whipped all around his head. And then we'll play this in full speed. Just crazy. Just seeing both the views just really puts it all together for you. Just how fast the launch, the ascent, how fast it ends up just on the other side of his body. And we're expected to believe that all this was just from
Cavitation
of the impact on the opposite side of his neck. Like right. You just, none of that makes any sense. Like it ain't that the math ain't mathing on none of that. And yeah, that back view is pretty key to it. So being able to see that, and then the seeing that gas expansion. Which, look, this is no gas. Crazy. Right? Look at his leg right here. Look at what was that dude that was doing the questions? I forgot his name.
Oh yeah, Hunter Kozak.
Kozak. Look at Hunter Kozak's at his pant leg, his shirt and his pant. Look at that area. Now look at the difference between this frame and this frame. You see the smoke. Poof.
Oh yeah.
See it starting to poof, and then the very next frame, bow, the whole shirt stretched up.
Artifacts.
Yeah, it's just slop. I'm CGing this, CG and all this together. It's just not raw videos that I'm pulling off. Yeah. So it's just, and there's even more stuff on there. Everybody should go to this. If you got free time, go to the website.
Yes, please go to his website. That is his website, and trust me, he is constantly adding to that.
Yeah, I don't even tell people. I add stuff to it. I don't even tell nobody. I just put it up there.
Just put it on there.
Yeah, so just always look out. There'll be something that if I find it, like, and I think it's worthwhile, I'll pop it on there. I don't even post about it now.
Now look, I know you can make this this change. You ought to go to your website and set it up where people can put their email address in there, and every time you put something new on there, they can get a notification, so they'll know to go look.
That's a really good idea. I'm gonna code that tonight.
There you go. Yeah, all right.
I'll
be expecting my royalty check. Hey, I got you a question here. Sandy, she was asking, what in your opinion rules out that the explosion came from the necklace, as some people think?
Just because, like, the mechanics of it. So where the explosion started, like, it was closer to the top of his collar because we see the gas escaping out. We know whatever the explosion was immediately destroyed the case of the microphone and snapped the necklace right underneath the microphone. And the novelty of a weapon hidden in jewelry that somehow detonated remotely, that's timed with a rifle shot. I've just never seen an example of that, but I have seen an example of weapons, explosives hidden in electronic devices and detonated at precise times using remote detonation. So just Occam's razor kind of lends you to believe that the lower hanging fruit would have been that microphone, and then the evidence that we see ties that. Look at my rooster in the background, y'all. Look at that.
Oh yes, I
Oh
see him.
yeah, yes sir.
Photo bombing. Hey, that website is followtheepicenter.com, right?
Yes sir.
All right. I think you dropped that in the chat, but somebody was asking, so I figured I'd pop it in there again. Yeah, and Bree just put your Blue Mountain website in there too. So yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah,
all over it. You all
Thank
over it.
Yeah, everybody has blessed us greatly. It's been, you go out and you go against the state's narrative. You really put your neck out on the line. A lot of the world can come down on you, but at the end of the day, you just got to be brave and you got to stand up for the truth. And I believe this is what God would want me to do. So Jesus was falsely persecuted, and so in my heart, I feel like anybody that I feel is falsely persecuted, I have to stand up for them as if I would stand up for Jesus, and so it's how I approach it. So.
Yeah, and it does take it does take a lot sometimes to do it, and it's like I always tell people, people really want somebody that's going to come out and tell them the truth. And name me one example of somebody like your Candace Owens or your whoever, anybody that has decided to break from the the herd, that hasn't, in the end at least, been just fine and most of the time better off. The support's out there. It's just scary and it sucks at first, especially. But people really do respect that, and people are hungry for that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that a lot of people overthink it. They think about getting canceled, but they just can't imagine what it's going to be like on the other side. And like I said, people are just people. There's still good people out there, and they really appreciate folks like you that go against the grain. And
hey, if I had a real job and I thought it might jeopardize my job or affect my family, I would think about it different. But I ain't got no real job, man. I ain't got no boss to answer to. Ain't nobody call. I mean, people call me all the time. I just don't pick up my phone. So people could be giving me death threats, but my voice messages are full. So you're gonna have to send like a text message death threat if you want to really get to me. And I don't think they're too keen on doing that. So
hey, you want to address that one there? I already know what you're going to say, but yeah, the audio of a shot from the mixing board.
No, you can't fake a mock cone, bro. Like, speakers, the speakers are in certain positions. So you can go and map the audio from the cameras that are in front of the speakers. And, a speaker, unless like we're talking about some hypothetical, like novel speakers that can create frequencies that are normal.
They all have a range.
They have a range. So it's real easy. You go and you do a bandpass filter on the range that the speakers can create. And you see if it changes the data at all, and it doesn't. So the speakers didn't have nothing to do with it. The speakers didn't.
And to just by the ear, just by the naked ear, to really truly imitate that sound, not only would it have to be a loud bang being played on these speakers, but it would all have to be in proper sequence, all the different, because the sound, it sounds different at different stages. And not only that, to be, to imitate it traveling, it's going to have all these different types of sounds going in the right sequence through different speakers. I mean, there's just so much there, not to mention, like you said, when you analyze it, you're going to see, you're not going to see that mock cone and so on.
You can't make a speaker fly supersonic speeds over the crowd.
The mock cone is really, at the end of the day, that is what really truly, that's the death nail.
You can't fake that. That ain't no faking that. And that's why they had it. That's why they just didn't shoot a fake round. People are like, well, if they weren't shooting Charlie, why'd they even shoot a fake round? Because you had to shoot a fake round. They know from Butler, PA, that people are going to go over the audio and over with
And like I said, a blank doesn't cut it, because most of that sound is coming off of that projectile.
Yep, exactly. And it moves faster than sound. So, you really need that mock cone to sweep past to really make it convincing.
Yeah, and I mean anybody that's ever shot, especially out in a spot like that, um, that sound. It make your hair stand up if you know what it is, and if especially with a big caliber like that, hearing that sound. I mean, it's not just a pop, but you can hear it traveling. You can hear that sound. Yeah. There's only one way to get that, and that's with a projectile.
Yep.
Yep, I need to. I hate to admit it, but I do need to get on, spend a little more time on your website there. It's a whole lot better. It's a whole lot better narrated, though.
Yeah, I know. It's very forensic heavy on
Yeah.
because it's made to. It's a record of what is known. So, they just can't be like, oh, well, we didn't know that. Or, we killed Tyler. Sorry. We didn't know that it wasn't him. We didn't have this data. Like, no, you can't say that.
Nope. It's online. It's public.
Yep.
Yeah. Has it? So I'm assuming I already know the answer to this, but I'm assuming the defense team still hasn't reached out or replied or anything.
I'd still send them everything, but I don't hear anything back from them. But it's even if they just look at it and passively move, like it's like that lawyer said, he's absolutely right. You can't mention any of this in court. Like they're not the prosecution. They're
exactly.
the defense.
Exactly.
They just have to undo and create reasonable doubt.
Yes.
To the narrative that they're that they're facing, and it's not hard to do because it's full of reasonable doubt. And their defense, I feel like they're at least attempting to put together.
At first it was a little bit sus, but I especially after listening to Baron and Greg also break some of this stuff down with some of the motions that have been filed, and I believe they do have his best interest. I think.
You just have to be careful. I mean, they only get one shot at this, so and they're not the offense; they're the defense. You know what I mean? Right. They have to counter punch, so they don't get to decide what they throw. They have to bob and react and counter punch to whatever the prosecution's coming up with. And I think that they're giving them credit where credit's due. I feel like they're doing a good job with it. Calling out the fake electronic confession, calling out the mixed DNA, like all these things are key. And they just need to hammer home on
I love the fact that they told everybody that they got reports from the ATF, but no underlying, how was it tested, exactly what the metrics and, all the stuff that really matters. I mean, anybody can write a report, but, not getting any of that. And the fact that they
don't have Tyler's phone. Like if the text, if you really get down to brass tacks, the case is built on those texts.
Yeah.
Because those texts reveal key details that only someone that committed the crime would know. Right at the time that the text was supposedly sent, the only person that would know that there was a rifle hidden in the woods, that there was engraving on the bullets, that this it was wrapped in a towel, would have been someone that was firsthand knowledge of.
And that's what makes that even more sus, because everything
is make the case for him. You know what I mean?
Everything all wrapped up in a pretty little bow. I mean, everything to convict him and everything to exonerate, Lance. And every detail they needed to know about any of the rest of it, like I said, all with a nice little pretty bow.
And then like the Dremel tool and bullet casings, like that's just inconsistent in my mind. If the texts are true and he wanted to go to his grave with this secret,
but why in the world?
and you leave a case at home that you engraved that says test shot, like let me leave some targets here where it's just like Lee Harvey Oswald, you know what I mean? Where he might have well taken prints of JFK to the gun range and shot him. It's just like, okay, so he's leaving like I need mementos to this thing that I want to take this secret to my grave. I need engraved bullets. I need some targets that and then I'm gonna leave a note for my lover and leave an auto text. That's super suspicious to me. Like
a scheduled text message.
A scheduled text message like, "Hey, look under the keyboard."
Yeah.
But burn the letter, and then they charged him for
take a picture of it first.
But burn it after, and then if the cops come, tell them everything and show them the text. Like it's like, all right, this, and to that, someone commented to the point like, we don't know that Gray Challenger. They don't show the license plate. Could have been any Gray Challenger, you know what I mean? Darren Fern, that was Tyler's Gray Challenger, and his Lance Twiggs could have been writing all those texts. He could have been
I still feel like that's probably where the Discord messages come from, because Barron has all but 100% confirmed that Tyler would have been in no position.
The only way that it happened is if they made a mistake on multiple documents of the time.
Yep.
Like multiple documents would have that mistake on the time.
Or they made the mistake of letting him in the jail and keeping his phone until the next day.
Yeah, which none of that makes sense. Like you can't. I can understand a document, maybe like a transpose a number or something like that, but multiple documents like that, like those documents tie to each other, like it just doesn't make any sense. And then like the whole Discord message was just like weird. Hey guys. Sorry, buds.
Bad news.
Bad news. Turns out.
Except it was supposedly a group of people that should be celebrating it. You know what I mean? Like, just every single thing about it.
Yeah. It's just, at some point, you just have to, like, put your earmuffs on and just take a fresh look at everything and be like, what do I just think about what we know? Like, just look at what we know. Like, forget that you can't look in any of the news because the news just misconstrues every piece of information. Look at what the court filings have shown you. Look at what we see from the video and what we know from the things that we've seen with our own eyes from private people's videos.
Believe your lying eyes.
And you put all that together and be like, all right, I can see that. And then be like, well, how do I make this sense of what Charlie was going through? And if you look at some of those last interviews, like Charlie was hot. He was put in a position where, it wasn't so much that it was.
Oh, you could tell when he was talking to Megyn Kelly that he was.
They were questioning his character.
That's exactly what he said. They are questioning my character.
And,
not just my decision making, or is this good for the company, or they are questioning my character. And yes, he was very, very upset when he said it. So
it all just, and then hindsight, we have this hindsight now of seeing what has happened. This travesty of a war. And he was standing in between it. So it's like, okay,
there's no way they would have been able to sell that with him. I mean, he was
so hard. Like out of all the media personalities that could have put a real difficult roadblock in between them achieving what they wanted to achieve, he was the one. Like you want to like why are they taking out this or that and the other? Well, it's because they weren't eloquent enough. Like he was already making arguments that were well founded enough to prevent people to want to just jump into it. Like he was already making framing those arguments. And if we would have had the real world consequence, like what we're living through now, is exactly what he was saying was going to happen. Like it would have just been really, really difficult for them just to pass.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially when things started happening, in real time, like, proving him out every single time, as it goes. I don't know. It's just, hey, that would have, like you said, that would have been about impossible to overcome. And, the thing about it is he also, because of his stance, that's the whole thing about it. So, okay, well, I can, if he'd have been the Charlie from a year before or whatever, he could have looked at, okay, well, this is the data that we're given. This is what they're saying is going on. So maybe this is something that has to be done. But, when he sits there on his show and rattles off, they were wrong in Syria, they were wrong in Lebanon, they were wrong in, and down the list he goes, they were wrong in Iraq, they were wrong in Libya, just bam, 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 bam. And when he says they, we all know what he means. I mean, he clarifies, you know, we're paying for this intelligence. What are we getting for it? So yes, with a with a new outlook on things like that, and with as big a voice and as influential he'd become, I mean, like, there's nothing that I don't think could have overcome that.
Yep. I hear your youngins in the background. They're getting rowdy.
I was gonna ask you. Yeah, I guess that's my alarm. I guess that's my timer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could go another couple hours, but we'll definitely have to do this. Maybe we won't wait so long. I've been seeing people in the chat. Please do this again soon. So, yeah, it's great. Don't know if I didn't see Lionel pop up in the chat. Maybe he got to watch. If not, maybe he'll at least watch the replay because, after he said that, I was like, I've got to figure out a way to get a message to him because obviously he has not seen Jon Bray stuff. So,
yeah, hopefully he'll go to the website, chew through it.
Yeah. Yes. Lionel, go to the website, followtheepicenter.com.
Yeah.
And trust me, he's got the mind for it. Like, he could go through that and know what he's looking at.
Yeah.
You know, understand it. You got to at least look. Go to sometime go to YouTube. Just type in Lionel Nation and just watch one of the videos. It's great. You've got to sit down with a Webster's dictionary to get the full effect, though.
Yeah,
I swear to God, you think he's making words up, words I didn't know existed, and uses them. I mean, like proficiently, like you know, makes it sound right, but. He sounds really smart when he talks. That's for sure. Smarter than I sound. Oh, yeah. But anyway, you ought to check him out. That's funny. That's good stuff.
I will.
But yeah. Anyway, guys, I am going to drop his websites into the description of the video. I meant to beforehand, but I didn't have them and I didn't ask in time. So they will be there. I think they're in the chat. So yeah, and obviously, I don't know what I was going to say. That baby, my
I hear
baby in the background, just
the daddy and me. I'm like, take care of that baby now.
Yeah. It's getting that time of night. You know, they start getting cranky.
Yeah.
But I guess that's better than the smoke alarm beeping. I've got to get a 9-volt battery. I don't know if you heard that, but somebody mentioned that. I think it was on my last stream. Like, I can hear that. I was like, damn, I hope nobody would notice that. Oh, I said, yeah, I've always been told that that beeping fire, smoke detector in the background means you're like for real white trash.
Oh, you're really white trash if you're like me, and you just yanked them out of the wall.
Right.
No boy.
Yeah, I see y'all in the chat. Y'all do that. Y'all bug him. Make sure you don't give him no rest till he comes and checks it out. So, anyway. All right, guys, gals, I appreciate y'all coming out and showing up. It was fun, and we'll definitely have to do this. We'll have to do this again very soon.
Yep.
John, I appreciate it. You the man on this especially.
God bless everybody. Christ is risen. Christ is King.
And he's King. Yep. Keep up the good fight. Look, trust me, I see your posts on X. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
We'll see you.
All right. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, guys. What about that? Was that not good? That was Jon Bray at his best right there. I think every time I swear every time I hear him, he gets better. But when he talks to me, it's the best. That's just the way. I guess that's the way it is. Probably a little bit biased. But yeah, guys, look. Any of y'all that's in the chat, any of y'all that are listening that aren't in the chat, please hit that sub button. It'd be great if I got off here and had 600 subscribers. Plus, you know what? There'll be more to come, so you need to make sure you're subscribed so you can get in on that. We got the best chat on the internet for sure. I'm late, so I'm rewinding. I'm sorry. Catch it. It's definitely worth it. And hey, make sure you sub and hit the little notification bell, and you won't be late next time, hopefully. So please do that. Please like the video. And I don't know if anybody's tried to send a super chat, but I'm not quite monetized yet. So for anybody that wants to, or would like to, my version of super chats for now is my Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal in the description of the video. So yes, any support in that way would be much appreciated. and of course, y'all showing up, turning out, and keeping that chat moving. That is much appreciated also. All right, guys, I'm going to go try to help with that screaming baby. Love y'all. Good to see y'all. And let's see. Just keep an eye out for a post. I'll let you know when I'll be back. But either way, meet you back real soon right here. Thanks. Y'all have a good night.